Yay!
I'm your Sergeant at Arms, dear Elizabeth. Welcome to Golden Speakers Toastmasters Club of Fairfield, Iowa. And it's my pleasure to introduce Will Burns, our president.
Yo!
Thank you, Vera. And once again, here we are at Toastmasters. The mission of Golden Speakers Toastmasters, as with every Toastmasters group, is to provide a mutually supportive learning environment where each member has the opportunity to develop oral communication and leadership skills, which in turn fosters self-confidence and personal growth.
Yay!
I'll start by addressing any of our guests. I see just the one. Paul, how you doing? You're welcome. What brought you here today?
My bicycle. I haven't been here in I think it's been at least 3 years, maybe 4.5 years. And I just started teaching at NUM.
Okay.
So, and I realized how important to me communication is on every level of what I do, not just in my day-to-day conversations, but I really love to share and communicate with people. And I didn't realize that my communication skills were somewhat inhibited. I haven't really had much practice, in a very clear way.
Right.
In a systematic way.
Sure.
So I remember that Toastmasters is every Tuesday night. And I just got on my bike and I rode here after the pool. So here I am.
There we go. It starts with an impulse.
Yo!
Are you teaching at MUM or
Yeah.
MSAE? Yeah. Okay, we have a number of MUM or MSAE faculty here. Okay, well, looking around, I don't see any other guests. So I will turn the meeting over to our Toastmaster, Rahul Bats.
Yo!
Good evening, friends, viewers at home, and my dear fellow Toastmasters. Today we are celebrating the theme of labor. As with every Toastmasters meeting, we do have many role players here who would help us in effectively organizing this meeting. With this, I'd like to introduce our role player. My name is Rahul Vats and I'm the Toastmaster. The art counter for the night is Darlene Martin. Darlene, would you explain your role, please?
Yay!
Thank you, Raul. My role this evening will be to make note of words that we don't want to be using, such as like, you know, so, but, and tongue clicks, pause, and false starts. And I'll give a report at the end of the meeting.
Yo!
Our general evaluator for the night is Mr. Satish Sabapati, from whom you'll hear on later in the program.
Yay!
Our grammarian for the day is Mr. Art Atkinson, and he would be explaining the word of the day and his role here.
Yo!
Good evening, Toastmasters. The word of the day is very freshly chosen about 45 seconds ago when I was assigned this role. That word is replete. It means abundant and full, and a sentence to illustrate the proper use of the word would be something that would be ideal for me to be able to think of on the spur of the moment.
Yeah.
But it is not coming right now. Replete is an adjective describing a situation of something being particularly full, abundantly full.
Day after Thanksgiving.
Is replete with leftovers.
This is a good suggestion. The Thanksgiving table was replete with leftovers the day after Thanksgiving. My job also consists of looking for and listening for very colorful or imaginative use of language, and if there were any awkward or incorrect use of language, and to report on all of this at the end of the meeting.
All right.
Yay!
To keep us in time and check, we have our timer, Mr. Slobodan Dumulus.
Yo!
The role of the timer is to keep everybody on time. So table topics are 1 to 2 minutes long. At 1 minute, I'll show you the green sign. At 1 minute and 30 seconds, the yellow sign. At 2 minutes, red sign. If you don't stop talking by 2 minutes and 30 seconds, you'll be disqualified. The speeches tonight are slightly different in length. The first two speeches are 8 to 10 minutes. So at 8 minutes, there'll be a green light. At 9, a yellow. At 10, a red. And at 10:30, they'll be disqualified. The table topics evaluation is about 2 to 3 minutes long. Again, green light at 2, yellow at 2:30, and red at 3. Speech evaluations are 2 to 3 minutes long again. Green at 2, yellow at 2:30, red at 3. And all speakers have about 30 seconds to complete their talks after the red sign comes on. If they don't do that, they'll be disqualified. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we have a greeter and joke master who is listed as Stephanie Chambers here, but is somebody else filling in on that? Anybody else who is filling in on that role?
I'll do a joke.
Tom Trainer would be speaking a joke at the end of the meeting. Also, Art is doing a double duty, but I think it would be shared with someone as a ballot and leader counter.
I'll be doing that.
Yeah. And our table, moving on, we would start with the appetizers in the form of table topics. And to take you to the table topics, I'd like to introduce our table topics master, Mr. Jesus Rio.
As Raul said, this is the appetizer. You don't know how it works. I'll pick somebody from the group. You have to come and do a 2 minutes to 2 minutes and a half speech on whatever the question might be. And at this time, I'd like to ask for any volunteers. Otherwise, I'll have to pick somebody.
Yeah.
The guests are welcome to participate as well. Who will be our first volunteer? All right. Your name?
Paul Moore.
Paul. Then for a volunteer call, I have a number from 1 to 5, and I want you to just randomly select a number. That would be the question. Number 3. Tell us, what do you think that in a day of celebration we celebrate, but on Labor Day we don't work? You want me to repeat the question?
Yes, please.
Tell us, what do you think that means that in a day of celebration we celebrate, but on Labor Day we don't work? Thank you.
Yeah. So, as we know, each of us, we have moments in our lives that are meaningful to us, that we look back on with fondness, and we say, these were moments worth celebrating. In these moments, we must remember so that we have something to look forward to. And the reason I believe we celebrate is to reconnect with that vitality and that spirit that we initially had at the moment where great things happen to us. With the Industrial Revolution, the Western culture began to increase the amount of time that workers would work to such a degree that it was considered honorable to be able to work for many hours during the day and have a stable job to care for your family. The reason Labor Day is celebrated through not working is to honor those who have put in the investment of time to get themselves supported to do the things that they love to do and get paid to do it. So we take the day off in order to remember those who have worked and achieved much.
Yay!
Another volunteer to take questions from 1 to 5, let's set 3. Will?
Yay!
Number 2. Tell us about some of your most intense and physical labor you ever had to do.
Jesus, thank you. Fellow Toastmasters, honored and distinguished guests, and viewers at home. Well, the most work I ever did, and I'm primarily an office worker. I'm a white-collar kind of guy who likes to sit on his you-know-what and enjoy the air conditioning. The most work I ever did was construction. I did a little bit of, a bit of mounting sheetrock for a time, but the pinnacle of my physical labor was when I was employed with a team of 4 other guys to take down a brick wall that had basically been tarred, was a brick structure, and then it was meant to be taken down so that it could be redone. What does this entail for me? Well, this basically entails me with a huge sledgehammer physically striking this thing multiple times. So you could say that wall was replete with the strikes of that. I think it was a maul. It was a maul. I think it was a little bigger than a hammer. So, and I just remember that to me was an experience like no other, because when you work in an office, things are fairly structured. You have your coffee breaks. You kind of have a general flow of the day. But there it was, you worked really, really hard, and then you stopped. And the guys that were smokers would have a smoke break, and those of us that weren't would just stop and drink water, and we kind of chat a little bit, and then we get back to it and do it all over again. And it was just a routine where, while I would certainly not want to go back to that, I always, at the end of the day, felt exhausted, and I felt tired, and I felt beat, but I also felt satisfied, because I had managed to do something real. And I think that goes back to what Paul was saying about feeling like you're providing and actually making your mark on the world. Thank you.
Big number 1, 4, or 5.
4.
What kind of a job will you try to avoid like the flag?
Thank you. Good evening, Toastmasters, guests, viewers at home. Thank you for this great question. What kind of work am I trying to avoid like a plague? Ha! Well, this goes back to the last question. The kind of work I'm trying to avoid, if I can, is the hardest physical labor I ever did. When I was age 27, I was living in a very remote part of the western range of mountains in Oregon, in what would be rainforest anywhere else. It rains all the time there. I was 20 miles upriver from a little tiny logging town in a property that was surrounded by deep woods of Douglas fir, western red cedar, alder, and vine maple. And it became necessary to get some actual cash. I was caretaking a property for a friend of mine. It became necessary to get some pocket money. So I went and joined a crew of tree planters. So in this part of the world, they clear-cut Douglas fir slopes, and then in order to keep the erosion and to get another Douglas fir slope, the Department of Forestry hires people and crews to go in and plant Douglas fir seedlings that have been grown in nurseries. And you carry a steel rod, stainless steel rod, about 6 feet long that has a shovel blade on the end of it, about the size of your hand or maybe 2 hands, and it weighs about 15 to 20 pounds. And you're climbing on mud slopes that have been slash cut. So you're climbing over logs and boulders, and then you're in hip-high boots, and they're covered with mud up to about the tops. And you're slogging up and down a slope about this steep all day. And you wake up at 5 a.m. and you get in a truck and you go out on a gravel road into the middle of nowhere, and you're on a slope all day, climbing up and down, jamming this into the ground, opening up a little thing, a little hole, putting a seedling in it, stomping it with your boot, and moving over 3 feet and doing it again. And you take a 20-minute break for lunch. I did this for a week, and I was dog tired by 4:30 in the afternoon when we quit. I would go back to the barracks that we were at, sleep totally sound until we woke up at 5 the next morning, and do it again and again and again. I earned $45 for the week. And the guy said, "I can see that you want to work another week." And I said, "No thanks." And I would say no thanks ever since. But I could run up and down mountains afterwards. I was so in shape.
Go! You're done. No. Who's we vote for?
Okay, now, Tamer, will you please tell us if anybody, can you tell us anybody that qualified?
Yeah, Paul and Will qualified. I got carried away with his hard work and went over 3 minutes. I was second.
Who qualified?
Paul and Will. Oh, yes, and Will.
Let's take a minute to vote for best topic speaker. And now I would like to invite the table topic evaluator Peter Rhodes.
Oh.
Fellow Toastmasters, guests, and viewers at home, it is my honor to evaluate the table topics. for Paul, I commend him very much on coming up and giving us a talk for his very first time back. And he was very clear and vocal, easy to hear, fun to listen to. I really liked his topic. He led in, he thought about a little bit about how it leads up to Labor Day and why Labor Day would be a day of recognizing what these people did for many hours a day. It was just very well thought out and explained. Thank you again. And for Will was very fun to listen to and watch. He came out and it felt like he was part of us. Very expressive, great tone, easy to listen to. Very comfortable. You've come a long ways. It was hard to think of a comment for you. I don't really know. Just hope you learn to enjoy hard work. And Art, do I evaluate even though he went over time?
Yes.
Okay. Art, your topic was very interesting. Great expression. You came out, and again, it felt like you were one of us, moving around, getting comfortable with that. That was great to see. And your gestures, more gestures, and maybe a little bit on working. You stood most of your time over here. Maybe like come over and make us feel important too. And what suggestion? I guess just watch your time. Thank you.
So ladies and gentlemen, after our starters, which were tasty and delicious, as inviting as they can ever be, we move on to prepared speeches, and we have some great speakers tonight. So I hope you stay here, all the viewers at home, and listen for what's going to be a real great learning curve. At this point of time, I'd like to introduce our evaluator, Mr. Ron Kerr, who will be reading objectives for Mr. Tom Trainer.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Fellow Toastmasters, guests, viewers at home. Tom Trainer, intro. Tom Trainer is a 16-plus year member of Toastmasters. He is a double distinguished Toastmaster and is currently working on his third. He has served in his clubs in every officer role, including leading the Area 22 and Division E governor. Tom has started and mentored 2 Toastmasters clubs, both currently operating in the Fort Madison prisons. Tonight, Tom is going to be doing project number 8, Get Comfortable with Visual Aids. That's from your 10 Competent Communicator Manual, speech number 8. He has asked the timer for 8 to 10 minutes. His title is How We Get to Be the #1 Club in Iowa. We are #1 club in Iowa. We have been for quite a while, but we're very modest about it. But in case anybody forgot, we are the #1 club in Iowa and have been. If you look at the chart, every little yellow dot, that's us. But we don't want to belabor the point. So get comfortable with visual aids. The objectives are select visual aids that are appropriate to message and the audience. And use visual aids correctly with ease and confidence. Let's welcome Tom.
Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, honored distinguished guests, viewers at home. We're tag team tonight. Tom and Diane are going to take on the large subject of the Distinguished Club Program. Some of you have heard parts of this, some of you are going to be new to it, and some of you just need a review to remember that it's very complicated. So my goal is to take a complicated subject and try to make it simple. As Ron said, all these yellow dots signified every time this club was the #1 club in the state of Iowa. And if you count, it's a lot of dots. I think it's 11 or so, 7 in a row. But every year we have a challenge. What are we going to do to keep the lectern so we can put another yellow dot on it? fact, we get chewed out sometimes because we don't charge the district the $3.23 that it costs us to get the brass plaque made up. And the woman who told me that, I said, well, how much do you pay him? Oh, $25, $30. I said, we get them for $3, so I'm not to bother turning in the receipt. This is essentially the goal. Having this, keeping this, getting there. And Diane's going to tell us who's going to do it. I'm going to tell you what it takes. Vanna White's behind the counter here, so she's going to throw number one over the top. Thank you, Vanna. You don't get much TV time here, but I'm also, before I start, I want to show you something that's a prop that I like to use. This is a substitute for an old-fashioned milking stool, right, Vera? Three-legged milking stool has been used for centuries because no matter what kind of a terrain you put it on, it automatically self-levels. It's also a triangle, very, very strong, does a lot of wonderful things. So I'm breaking this from a 10-step program or a 12-step program or a 7-step program. We're going to break it down into threes. And when we get done, we'll have 3 sets of threes, which makes 9. And the 9 together makes the 10th, as you've ever heard some people talk, 9 and 2. Long story. The first one I call completions. We can also call it awards. But you don't get credit unless you complete an award. So step 1, we need 4 competent communicator manuals completed and turned in first before the rest of the crowd. We also have to have 2 advanced communicators. Now, in this club, that's not a problem. This can be a problem because 4 competent communicators for many clubs is a problem to do, even though they have a lot of members. And lastly, 2 leadership awards. Now this is a broad thing now because if you just take your leadership book that was given to you when you showed up and you bring it to meetings and you get someone to fill it out every time you have a role, within a period of about 8 months, you've got 1 leadership award done. So that's called the competent leader. There's also a bronze, and a silver, and a gold. No, the gold has been converted to the distinguished Toastmaster. So in this club, we usually don't have a problem with this because we even have someone that's supposed to encourage you to bring your manual and get it filled out. It's called the leader counter. The reason we defined it that is, this is the person who makes sure you get your leadership counted. The qualities, being an evaluator, being a timer, being a counter. Every one of those is a process that we need to have you get filled out. Some clubs don't do any of this. They just blow it off. It's an easy one to do. Hey, Dana, can I have stage number 2? All right, here we go. Stage 2. By the way, this was goals in the Toastmaster program. This is goals 1 through 6. It's complicated because the way they break it down. This way it's simple. 4, 2, 2. You got it. No problem, right? This is the second 3-legged stool. And it's membership. And it's a little bit more complicated. It's the reason 1 item, and in the program, the way they defined it, it's goals number 7 and 8. What they really want you to do is to get 8 new members. Since we're never going to be content with 8, at least 8, we don't break it down. They give you goal 7 is to get 4 members, and goal 8 is to get 4 more. That doesn't make any sense to me. So we go for 8 members. Here's the other hook to this. Your club has to have at least 20 members on the roster on the dues period of April 1st. So 8 and 20. Now, if you're not fortunate enough to have 20 members, which this club has had for a very, very, very long time, since at least I was here in 1999 when I came, and I've had Toastmaster experience on the East Coast. They give you one more way to get this goal done. If you have plus 5 members net. How they work that out? When you started the year, you may have had 8 members, like we have in Conscious Communicators, or Open Minds, or Washington, or Ottumwa. During the year, if you have nobody quit and you add 5 more, you get to 13, you've accomplished this membership goal. If you started with 8 and you had 3 quit, you got to add 8 because you got to get 5 more. You got to get 5 net of losses. So this is the most complicated piece of this whole thing. That's why it's got 3 things to define, because it's an either or. 8 plus 20, 8 plus 5. Either one works, but it has, and that's how it works together. Hey, Vanna, one more. Okay. This one is kind of a, when I started this, I didn't have the right name for it, but I call it process. This is you and your officers doing the process of being a good Toastmaster club. By the way, this whole Distinguished Club program was a reverse engineer process. They went and looked at all of the clubs that were successful, and what they discovered was they did these things. Huh? Is that a great way to learn? What do the great clubs do? The clubs that always have lots of members, they're always doing good things. This is what the great clubs do. So it's a reverse engineer. Here's what we need on the process. We need our officer list on time. Now, this year's officer list was filed before June 30th. By the way, June 30th is the end of the fiscal year. You're filing next year's list. And boy, are they absolute with that. You can't mail it in. You either fax it in or do it online. And they really want you to do it online. It's an easy thing. You click, 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 click. Takes you about 40 seconds and you're done. Right, Will? Yeah, exactly. And to let you know it's done, the person doing it gets an email, the club president gets an email, everybody knows, we got this done. It's an easy gift. You just have to do it on time. Do you know how many clubs don't do this? If you go through and look, and by the way, Toastmasters allows all of us to look, over half the clubs miss this. It's a freebie, and they don't do it. They somehow can't get it through their heads that this is a thing that needs to happen. Dues must be on time. Now, the reason I say 2 times, you don't want to get sloppy with this. They let you get by with 1. I say, no, you don't want to practice being sloppy. Do it right every time. Because then you're in the process. You always do it right. You get your dues in on time. That's April 1 and October 1. If you read the fine print, you got a couple of days. They're not really that hard. But what they want is they want your money. They want to know who your members are. They lean on you a little bit. Last, and by the way, these goals make up goals 9 and 10. They want you to have at least 4 officers trained twice a year. Better if you have 7. Some clubs only have 3 officers, but they cover multiple roles. They want you to do this, and they want you to do it right every time. That's why I want you to pay dues every time. You get in the habit of doing it right. You do it right every time. You don't make mistakes. This is the Distinguished Club program. So you've got 3, 3, 3. That's 9. The 10th is the process. 3, 3, and 3 is 9. But if you don't count the whole process, the stool, the underlying structure, that's your 10th. That's what holds it all together. That's how this club gets to have that lectern and all those little yellow dots by doing this consistently on time, consistently do it right, consistently ahead of the schedule. Mr. Toastmaster.
At this time, we all take 2 minutes to evaluate our speaker, Mr. Tom Trainer.
Clear?
Some of this stuff is for you guys, and I still want to talk about it.
Yeah. They know what we got to do. They will really do as to who are going to contribute. Who are these people? Who do we know can do this? And who can commit to go?
Right.
Alright, so at this point of time, we have the second tag team partner of Mr. Tom Trainer, Dan Denbaum, introducing the other part of achieving this goal of being the #1 club in Iowa.
Thank you.
Like the Olympics, right? Just pass that torch, the relay team, keep that energy going that Tom created. So good evening from me, everyone, Toastmasters, guests, viewers at home. Maybe you're going to be part of this goal setting. I'm here to follow up with Tom, or I'm up front, because I'm the who person. Now we have to have people step up to the plate to help us keep this incredible goal that we have of being the distinguished club president club each year. In the background here is how do we gain this honor, which Tom went over, so you can just watch me as I go through as I'm looking for volunteers. I'm just going to use this sheet, so there's no big visual with it on, but this will be a discussion. And I want to say one thing, that it just seems in this last week, I have heard this message from a lot of sources. My daughter went to Los Angeles. She heard it at Reverend Michael's church he was in. I called an old coach from Maharishi School. It was the first thing he said to me. It was in a teacher magazine that I was just reading, and that is the concept of play. And as a coach, as a life coach, there's a tool I use when I'm helping people, and it's called game versus significance. And the idea is when there's something to get done, what is your attitude around it? Are you making it super significant, super impossible, oh my goodness, all the drama in the story, or you have a choice to turn it into a game and add some lightness to it? How can I make this fun? How can I support the members of my club? So I just wanted to start on that note that let's see if we can bring that lightness, that game attitude into this and make this happen in a fun and playful way. The first thing we need, first of all, I want to thank those of you last year that were our heroes. I don't know who you are, but if you helped the club to be #1, and by last year, Jean, will you help me with the dates? What would that mean? From July 1st, 2011 through June 30th, 2012. So if you completed a competent communicator, one of the advanced manuals in the communicator, any of the leadership, any of these, went to trainings, if you contributed to that, I'd love to have you stand and let the club clap for you.
Hello, became a member.
Say thank you. What's that?
Became a member.
Became a member. Thank you.
Number 7.
All help welcome. Thank you, Slobodan. So anyone stand? We'll clap. Fantastic. Thank you so much. We'll start with the 4 competent communicators. Now, it says 2 competent communicators. I already have 2, me and Lewis. Okay, so that's taken care of. And then it says number 2, 2 more CCs. So CC is competent communicator in the Toastmaster world. Is there anyone else who completed it?
Upendra.
Upendra. So we have Diane and Lewis, because we just submitted ours last week after, Tom, will you help me, after July 31st, right?
July 1st.
July 1st. So we have Upendra. Is there anyone else? And then
I finished one tonight.
Tom Trainer. Okay.
I finished last week.
And you finished.
That was last year.
Yeah, oh sorry.
Oh, so last week, yeah, okay, good. So here's the good news. We have our 4 competent communicators.
Yay!
rest of you, keep working at it on the company communicator to make the job easy for the next time someone has to stand up here and get volunteers. Good, so 1 and 2 are covered. Now we're going to move to, we need Tom with his triangles, 2 advanced communicator folks. Is there anyone who, and by that it can mean the advanced bronze, the advanced silver, or the advanced gold. I made a chart, like a year and a half ago. I'm just thinking about it now. It's not there anymore. Okay, it was a long time ago, showing you the track, but it's not in action anymore. So, is there anyone who has finished, at least for the advanced bronze, you would just have finished competent communicator, and then you would have to do 2 manuals, 5 speeches in each. Is there anyone close to that? Anyone close to a silver where what?
You are,
I'm close.
and Ron probably is.
Nothing like being in the pressure cooker. Kidding. Yes.
I have one, but I am giving it to the other club that I'm a member of.
Okay.
So, all right. Somehow that blows up and we'll have it.
Okay. And here's the other thing. Maybe you know of another member that's not here, and you could go home and speak with them, get them up to date about what tonight's meeting was, and then let me know if you know of someone close to that. But we can put me down. I'll have to go home and check my notes. And
I have a question here.
yes.
So, in ACD, which is the bronze, how many speeches you have to do? You said 5?
10.
10 altogether.
10 altogether?
Yeah, 2
5.
manuals, and there's 5 in each.
2 advanced manuals.
Okay,
Advanced manuals.
and so I still have to go to get those of mine,
Okay.
and I'll be speaking at some competition. When I speak at the competition, would that be counted?
No.
No. Okay, that was my question.
Okay. All right.
Ron, it's got the layout for you right there.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, I had that. It's small, so I don't know how to. If you have a manual, you could turn to page 58 in the competent communicator. But first you do advanced bronze, then you do advanced silver, and then advanced gold. Here's your homework. You can go home, please, and in the back of your competent communicator, take a peek, and it describes what you need to do to get an advanced communicator bronze, an advanced communicator silver, or an advanced communicator gold. Maybe after reading that, you'll get all excited, call me up and say, I can do it. All right? All right, so let's see. Now we're moving into, and then we need 1 more. So altogether 2, as Tom did on the triangle. Now we need 2 leadership awards. Is there anyone close to finishing competent leadership? Ooh, okay. So Dan, Ron, Mangal, we're good there. We just needed 2. And I'm actually very close too. So we're good, we're covered there. Next area are members. 8 new members, as Tom said.
We already got 4.
So we have 4. We need 4 more.
Oh, no, I will do it.
Yay!
Yay!
Everyone clap for Rhonda. Yay! Easy. Thank you. Well, we were so happy you're joining us. Paul is in thinking about it.
See how it goes.
Serious thinking.
Well, we will see how it goes.
See how it goes.
Yeah.
Ha!
Okay. Give me an email, something like that, and let me know what you decide. Or just keep coming and visiting us. You can come and visit as much as you want. So, friends or people, the thing each week, raise your hand if during this week, from last Tuesday to this Tuesday, you talked to someone about Toastmasters. So invite, it's the beginning of that
I have
fall.
1 member potential who should join, but
And then we have our
I think her.
Yeah. And we have contests coming up. Invite people to those. We have a
Also, if you get a old member who quit and re-signs up, that's counted as a new member.
Oh, okay, good.
So it's time to mine some of the old people that
Okay.
have dropped away.
All right, so for
Is it
really
65
focus
or
on
older,
that.
or do they?
Won't we have a special meeting in October?
We hope so. It's up to the officers. If we do, that usually gets us
Then
4
we'll
more.
get that going. All right, good. Now 20 members on the roster. I believe we have that now. We're good. Okay, so now into the process.
Well,
Yes.
there's a point. We will have 20 right now for a while, but until dues get paid, then they're not going to last past the 1st of October unless the dues get paid.
Okay, so there, thank you. So the point from our treasurer, get your dues in. Please pay your dues.
It's very easy to just hand me the check tonight.
Right now. I did.
He's
I
easy.
walked in and handed it to Art. Had it all ready. $48 to Golden Speakers. Okay, so please do that. Yes? Can I see hands, or who's writing a check tonight?
We forgot.
Good. Then the process, perhaps the officers can help me. The officer list is in?
Yes.
Yes? Dues, get the dues in, and the officer training, you're on it?
We
Okay.
did 4.
All right. 4 and 4 to go. And I trust that will be taken care of. I have a really good feeling about that.
Can't do it until January.
And then that number 10, is that taken care of?
Yeah, that's all taken care of.
All right. Thank you very much. Go team, go. Go Gold Speakers, go.
Yay!
So, we, at this point of time, we know what it takes to be the #1 club. Let's make it our mission. And now, let's take 2 minutes to evaluate our speaker and demo. Thank you. All right, so at this point of time, we have our third speaker, Mrs. Jean Samantha Craig, but to read objectives for her, we have Mrs. Cindy Train.
Tonight, Jean is working from an advanced manual. It's speaking to inform. There's 5 speeches in this one. She's working on project number 3, the demonstration talk. Tonight, Jean's objectives are to prepare a demonstration speech to clearly explain a process, product, or activity. To conduct the demonstration as part of a speech delivered without notes. And Jean, what's your time? 7 to 9 minutes.
Yes.
All right. Oopsie, that's why I said it. To introduce Jean, she's been a Toastmaster since 2006. She was club president of Golden Speakers for the 2007-2008 Toastmaster year. She was Area 92 governor for this year that we're in process. No.
Ended.
For 2011-2012, the year we just finished. She's currently a club secretary and is a member of Conscious Communicators, who is Select Distinguished, which is a Select Distinguished club in the Fort Madison Maximum Security Facility. And if you want to have a very interesting learning experience, go visit these people during their club meetings. You'll learn a lot. Jean loves to dance West Coast swing and is going to demonstrate some fundamentals in Toastmasters. Please join me in warmly welcoming Jean Samantha Craig.
Fellow Toastmasters, guests, and viewers at home. I've been dancing West Coast Swing for a little over 2 years, and it is really a lot of fun. If you're a dancer at all and are looking for a dance that you can dance to just about any kind of music, this demonstration talk is for you. If you don't dance but are thinking you might like to have a dance, for a social event or anything that's happening, this demonstration talk is for you. I'm going to be going over some fundamentals, and we're going to start with 3 main principles that we use in West Coast Swing: timing, technique, and teamwork. I'm going to have Will Burns, our local West Coast Swing dancer himself, and our president, who will be assisting me. I want you all to be able to see. Timing with West Coast, there are 2 main counts. There's a 6 count and an 8 count. 6 count is 2 walk steps followed by 2 triple steps. The second triple step is known as an anchor step because it anchors the dancers as they prepare to go through their next series of moves. Let's see how that looks. And I'm going to turn my back to you so you can see. It goes. And guys are known as leaders. Women are known as followers. Leaders start on their left foot. Followers start on their right foot. Okay. First, let me just do it, Will, and then we'll show. So it's going to go like this. 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, and 6. Pretty simple. Everyone stand. Is that where you can see? Now guys, I want you to take a look at Will, because Will's going to do it with the left foot, and I'm going to do it from the right foot. But if you just want to pick a foot, that's okay too. It's rhythm. All right, so here we go. 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, and 6. Simple. You just welcome to West Coast Swing. Okay, go ahead and have a seat. This is used in some basic steps that are called sugar push, left and right side passes. We'll see a couple of those in a minute. The second count is called an 8 count. Similar. It's going to have 2 walks and a triple, and then 2 more walks and a triple. I'm not going to make you get into this advanced category, but I'm just going to show you it is 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Simple again. This is used in a basic step called a whip, and we'll take a look at that also. Second main principle is technique. I'm going to read a definition of West Coast Swing from Wikipedia. You're going to get a sense of, I think it's actually a very good definition. You'll get a sense of what I'm going to be talking about. West Coast Swing is a partner dance with roots in Lindy Hop. It is characterized by a distinctive elastic look from its basic extension compression technique of partner connection and is danced primarily in a slotted area on the dance floor. The dance allows for both partners to improvise steps while dancing together, putting West Coast Swing in a short list of dances that put a premium on improvisation. So we're going to now talk about technique and this element of elasticity. And it's done with a technique called compression and stretch. All right, I want you to all stand and get with a partner. And I don't care gender to gender, doesn't matter, but just find another body. Come on, you can do it. My clock is ticking here, so find someone. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Take the hands of your partner about waist high and stand a couple of feet apart. And I want you just to lean in towards each other. Match each other's compression. Just match it. Excellent. All right, now without moving your feet, hold those hands just where they are and stretch back. Matching each other's stretch. Great. All right. Good. See, that is compression and stretch. In West Coast Swing, both partners uphold the compression and the stretch, which really contributes to the dynamic look and feel of the dance. And absolutely, it feels fantastic. So it's not just taking 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, and 6 steps. It's this compression and stretch. So I'm going to ask Will to demonstrate. We're going to demonstrate a sugar push, and you'll just see a little bit of this. So I'm going to watch my timing. It's a 6 count, but watch the compression and stretch. That's 1, 2, and then I'm compressing. 3, 4, and then I'm stretching out. Okay, let's leave one more time. Do it again. Okay, excellent. See, I'm following and I'm compressing until he sends me back, and then I stretch. Ooh, I gotta tell you, that feels so good. The third main principle of West Coast Swing is teamwork. West Coast Swing is a conversation between the leader, who is giving direction and speed, and the follower, who is doing variations and responding in her own right. It's done in a slot, as you heard before. So that looks like the woman, the follower, is moving up and down a slot. It's not round, right? It's a slot, and the leader is guiding her up and down the slot using different speeds and directions, but staying out of the way. His job is to get out of the way, and I go in the slot. If he's in my way, when I go through, I'm supposed to go right through him. Right. I have, based on what he's doing, I get to respond, and I have variations. So I'm going to go ahead. We're going to do a couple of examples just to show you how this can look. All right. So you're going to do a right side pass. Okay, so he's doing a right side pass. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then my anchor step, 5 and 6. He sent me, and I followed. Now you're going to see me do a little bit of a response. 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, and 6. You see that little flourish that I did? Okay, now this is on carpet, so it's a little tricky, but that was my response that I get to say to Will. We're also going to do a whip just so you can see that 8 count. So we're going to do a basic whip. 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. There's millions of variations on that. And now we're going to do one where he's going to give me a turn, and I'm also going to give a little different response. 3 and 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. See that? Okay. Conversation. This is all happening in here, and it's happening with this compression and stretch as well. So it feels absolutely great. All right, now, I know you're waiting. Let's see what it looks like with music.
Yeah.
Put together. All right. I have another assistant. Is it playing? Turn it up. Louder. Louder.
These men that I've been seeing, baby, got their soul up on my shelf. You know they can never love me when they can't even love themselves. But I need someone to love me, someone to really understand. Who won't put himself above me, who just loves me like
Art styling.
I've never seen such losers, darling, even though I tried to find a man who could take me home instead of taking me for a ride.
Okay. Isn't that cool?
Hey!
When you have your timing, your technique, and your teamwork in place, the dance feels fantastic and hopefully looks cool. If you'd like to get started on West Coast Swing, come over to Morningstar Studio starting Wednesdays at 8 for their new beginner classes. Thank you.
I never thought dance can be taught while speaking. But here at Toastmasters, we teach everything while speaking. At this point of time, we'd like to take 2 minutes to evaluate our speaker, Jean Dominic Craig. Alright, we are back. At this point of time, we usually vote for our best speaker. But keeping some secret to the flavor, we are not voting for the speaker. At this point of time, I'd like to introduce our General Evaluator, Mr. Satish Sabapati, to take over for the meeting, for the evaluation section, which is over dessert. Thank you.
Dessert.
Thank you, Rahul. Now we are, as he mentioned, we have come to the evaluation portion of the meeting, and I am the general evaluator, and as the general evaluator, I would now like to call upon our first evaluator, Ron Kerr, to evaluate Tom.
Yo!
Thanks, Satish. Fellow Toastmasters, guests, viewers. Tom, how we get to be the #1 club in Iowa? Two parts to this. One is that answering that question, which Tom I think did extremely well, and then how the visual aids came into play to help support that. So the visual aids could have been a computer. Instead we have the hand-drawn, and that's fine. They did the job. Remember, if you recall, we had a list of 10 very detailed requirements. We brought it down to 3 little tripods right here, and shrunk it down, made it very easy. You how to eat the elephant, big meal, 1 bite at a time, and all of a sudden it's not that big a deal. So it's excellently well done that way in terms of shrinking it down to, oh, we need this, we need this, we need this, rather than this, and then this, and then that. So it makes it easier in our minds. And that's why we've been very effective at this. We've got this down pretty well. But it takes all of our commitment to do it. Now, the question here, as at the end of each one of these here, appropriate for the speech and the message, yes. Understand and remember the speaker's points. I think that came across. How many of you felt that you got it when you saw those 3? Clearly visible, that became a little bit of an issue. And if there was only one strong suggestion I would make is ideally the graphics, as simple as they are, would be made as graphically appealing as possible and as bold as possible. Because a little further back where we see the little scribble lines with a couple little scribbles on the thing, if they were a little bit more pronounced, then we would not just see that and then remember this, but we'd actually get a visual a little stronger too. So blame that
It's all her fault.
So for doing that, we have to make sure we get the right graph. Okay, good. So that really was my strongest point for recommendation. We just make that graphic, since it is so significant, to make it as powerful as we possibly can. Just a few more here. Use them comfortably, yes. For the purpose of your speech, very clear. Body language, of course. Tom is the word choice, effective, appropriate, spoken as our club patriarch. Tom has been in front of an audience. Many, put most of us together, and we might come close to what he's done. So he's very good at it, very effective at it. Tom knows what he's talking about. And then what I liked especially about it was taking this 10 requirements and shrinking it down to 3. That was a very effective thing, I think, to help us a lot. Thank you, Tom.
Yo!
Now, may I call Don Craig to evaluate Dan.
Ha!
Mr. General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, our guests, viewers at home. Diane was doing part 2 of the DCP presentation. I'm doing part 2 of the evaluations. Her presentation was replete with good techniques to make us feel like we were part of the process. I really liked her start. She came up and she said, it's like the Olympics, we're passing the torch. So she came up and continued the process that Tom had begun. She had a little bit of good vocal variety at that beginning also. She said, and viewers at home, maybe you're going to be part of this. Ha! So it made them feel like they were a part of our Distinguished Club program. Then she had a little section that I thought was a very good setup before she got going. She talked about the concept of play, that she'd heard it several places recently, that as a coach, this is an important thing in her mind. And so she said, are we making something super significant, impossible to accomplish, or can we just make it a game? I really like that because it just kind of said, you know, hey, this is something we got to do, but why not have fun with it? So that made us all feel like it wasn't such a tough thing to accomplish. Then in terms of her 10 points that she had on her visual aid, Diane was treating that kind of like a roll call or a telephone. And that was her method of making those in the audience feel like they were a part. Who have I got? Who's going to come forward and be
Praise
the
Lord.
advanced communicator? The one point that I thought was a little bit weak was when we got to the advanced communicators section. We could have used a little bit of a visual aid. Also, I know it's hard to pull something like this together with so many other things, but we could have used a survey in advance, so you already knew. But it is kind of hard to do it by email and then who comes. But that would have made it stronger. The last thing, a very nice wrap-up. Go, Golden Speakers, go! So we have the charge, and let's do it. Mr. General Levesque.
Now it's time to hear from Cindy Traynor, her evaluation of Gene Simonton's.
Fellow Toastmasters, Mr. General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, honored and distinguished guests and viewers at home. Well, if you were watching, my body was starting to really get into this, because I like to dance. Although I'm so busy, Wednesday nights are already taken, unfortunately. But you really, Gene, perked up the audience interest. You had us all participate. That was a lot of fun. Kind of woke me up. Got the blood running a little bit. Got the body swaying a little bit, or a lot. And I really enjoyed it. I think everyone did. Everyone stood up, maybe even Tom behind the camera. Nope. Well, anyway. The demonstration's impact on me is that it looks like a great, fun way to burn off some extra calories. To meet people, to make new friends, and to get out of the house and get involved with society. Your demonstration was appropriate. I know nothing about West Coast swing, but it looked like you may have, because you said there's a lot of variations on things. You do different things with arms and things. That maybe you showed us, the basic, simplest steps, perhaps. But then you embellished them when you got really into the meat of your demonstration with Will, and it became an art form. I saw art being created up here. And was the demonstration part clearly explained? Yes, it was, especially for me, who's a non-dancer. I don't know any of the terminology, so I didn't feel lost by your use of terms because you explained them and you showed us. What could the speaker have done to make the demonstration more effective? Well, we could have had this meeting at studio, at Morningstar Studio. We could have had the lights and the big glittery ball with the spotlights flashing and then the colored lights. And a 5-piece band would have been a lot of fun too. But Dan provided music, and it was a joy to watch and listen to anyway. So about the lights and the 5-piece band, I'm just kidding.
I have the light of lights.
Yeah. Slobodan has the lights. The most effective part of the demonstration to me was the whole thing, the whole package, everything. And kudos to Will for coming up and being your partner in doing that. It was much appreciated. And having us, the audience, participate in the steps, that was enjoyable and fun too. Mr. General Evaluator.
Go!
Okay, now we have heard from our evaluators. The next part is to vote for the best evaluator, and this includes our table topics evaluator, Veera. Mr. Timer, could you please let us know if all the evaluators qualified?
Yes.
And they are?
Ron, Dan, and Cindy.
And Veera.
Veera was before that, yes.
So let's vote for the best evaluator. Hi, welcome back. So now it's time to hear from our timer. 1 minute report from our timer. Slobodan, please.
Go! I'm just going to do the times and the topics. The table topics, Paul had 2 minutes and 18 seconds, Will had 2 minutes and 21 seconds, and Art had 3 minutes and 5 seconds. Speeches, Tom had 9 minutes and 54 seconds, Diane had 10 minutes and 48 seconds, and Jean had 9 minutes and 40 seconds. Table topics, evaluation, Veera had 1 minute and 54 seconds, Ron had 2 minutes and 43 seconds, Dan had 2 minutes and 31 seconds, and Cindy had 3 minutes and 18 seconds. That's all for now.
Good. Thank you.
Go!
Let's have a 1 minute report from our counter, Darlene Martin.
Yay!
Will, 2 Oz, Raul, 1 You Know, Art, 2 So's, 1 But, 2 Ands, Slobodan, 10 Oz, Jesus, I have as a clean slate, Veera, 1 4 Ands, Tom, 1 You Know, 1 So, Diane, 1 And, Jean, I was so into what you were talking about, I don't Ron, 1 Dan, 1 So, 1 And, Cindy, 2 Buts, 2 Ands, and Sabish, clean slate.
Go!
Right. Our next report will be from a grammarian, Art Atkinson.
The report is that Will used replete, Dan used replete. One other person used replete.
Will?
Who was the other person who was replete?
He was offline. I said we have repeat of overtime over.
Will's use was imperfect. Dan's was excellent. But the evening was replete with good technique. Not the evening was replete. Replete is a good example of an adjective or an adverb that we would want to choose as grammarian because it can be used in so many different situations. Choosing a noun depends on whether the noun is connected with any subject that anybody's talking about, whereas replete, if it were a great choice, could be used by a lot of people in a lot of different circumstances. And we had, it was moderately successful because we did have a couple of uses. If I'd been on my ball, on the ball, I would have chosen an even more useful adverb that we could all be using a lot more and that would really tighten up our language. I was just completely struck by Paul's careful table topic, and the phrase about us celebrating in order to recognize the significant and meaningful moments that occur in our lives. You had a way of putting that, which I almost got down. Rahul, you said something about keeping secret the voting, and that the construction was awkward, and I just couldn't get what you were saying. And Darlene's, I was just so into what you were presenting that didn't keep good track of the ahs and ums. I can relate to that experience. It's a perfect description of where I've been many times with my roles. That's it.
Go! And now it's time to hear a joke from our joke master, Tom Trainer.
Yo! Continuing in the theme from last week about coffee. Honoré de Balzac. The coffee falls into your stomach, and straight away there is a general commotion. Ideas begin to move like the battalions of the grand army of the battlefield, and the battle takes place. Things remembered arrive at full gallop, ensuing to the wind. The light cavalry of comparisons deliver a magnificent deploying charge. The artillery of logic hurry up with their train and ammunition. The shafts of will start up like sharpshooters. Similes arise. The paper is covered with ink. For the struggle commences, and it concluded with torrents of black water, just as the battle with powder. And one other, everybody should believe in something. I believe I'll have another coffee. Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you, Tom. And as a general evaluator, I'm supposed to be evaluating the evaluators, and which is going to be a really tough job for me. We had 3 great speakers and experienced evaluators, and what am I doing here? Trying to evaluate the evaluators. I'll still do my best. First of all, Vera Rhodes. You were very loud, clear, and you directed your comments to the speaker directly, which was very good. You thanked the guest speaker for coming up. That was very good. You didn't have a suggestion. Maybe you could have told him what is our greeting protocol, so that, I mean, he was the first speaker. Just I have to give you a suggestion, so that's why. Wonderful. And you also had suggestion for Will and Art. I mean, the suggestion you gave for Will, I considered, hope you learn to enjoy hard work. I thought that was a comment. Suggestion. Well done. And Ron, you set a perfect stage for Tom. You introduced the speech, the speaker. You gave us the feeling of what to expect from his speech. That was nice. And you also told us how, as a distinguished Toastmaster, what all he accomplished and which all his speech was about. So that was excellent. And in your evaluation part, I like the way you made it very clear how his whole speech, a big meal, was broken down, how it can be broken down into small bites, but still you're full with that big meal. So that was the message of the whole speech, like how to become a #1 club. Perfect. And Cindy Trainer, because you didn't give the introduction, I got you on the last part. Cindy Trainer, again you set the stage for Jean Symington, which she came with the 2 assistants and rocked. Wonderful. And you greeted the audience in the beginning, gave suggestions, and you also used the sandwich method. Did you give him suggestion at all? No. So
Just jokingly.
yeah. So that was again well done. Ron, I had to use her words. I was so much into your thing. I didn't have anything noted down for you, but I only understood that you gave an excellent wrap up of Diane's speech. So whatever I missed, also was caught up there. So job well done. Thank you very much, Thomas. I turn the meeting over to us. Time for a drum roll. At this point in time, I'd like to introduce the best table topic speaker, Mr. Paul Moorhead.
I was a winner.
Another set of drum roll for our best evaluator. And the best evaluator is Mr. Dan Craig. And as of this point of time, it's no more a surprise. Our best speaker, Mr. Tom Fick. That's what I was looking for. I don't see any.
Uh-oh.
Yep, there is. There you go. Tom Fick, all the way. With this, we come to an end, and at this point of time, I'd like to call upon our president, past president, Mr. Satish Sabha. Yeah, before we close, I would like to bring up Ron. He has some announcements to make. Ron.
Okay, as we've mentioned, the contest will be coming up at the end of the month on the 25th, excuse me. It'll be here. We'd like everybody to arrive at 7. There'll be training, and we will actually start at 7:30 sharp because it's a little more procedural. We have a lot of material to cover. Now, here's where we are right now for our requirements. Before I forget that, this is a time to showcase as well. We're a little more dressed up, a little more formal. It's a great time to invite your friends. People that might be interested in Toastmasters or not. It doesn't really matter. Bring your wife, bring your husband, bring your kids, bring everybody down. It's a lot of fun. It's a real good showcase. And it actually, when people realize that, it's funny how people get into Toastmasters a lot of times. They'll just sit and go, you know, I think I can do that, I can do better. And then they get to thinking, next thing you know, 4 years later, they're here. Okay, contest chair is myself. We need a chief judge at this point. Okay, Art. Chief timer and assistant timer, and now this can be new members too for time. Chief timer should be a kind of seasoned, and then the assistant can be new. Judges? I'm sorry?
Well, could I be chief timer?
Yeah, you've been here a while.
Okay, you got it.
Yep. Good move. Yay!
And we'll need an assistant for her. Now, we'll need 2 ballot counters, and that could be relatively new.
Whoever, pick them out of the crowd.
Okay. And then judges, right at this point, we have Will and we have Cindy. They've stepped up being judges. To be judge, we'll need 6 speeches under our belt.
That's the new rule.
Seasoned, a little more. What's that? Do you want to be a judge?
Not yet. Maybe.
Okay. Okay, no pressure. Okay, and then we have for the evaluation contest, I spoke to Chris over at Intimate Work. He's going to do the evaluation and the humorous speech. And you can do that. You know, as long as you feel comfortable, then you know you can talk, then go ahead and do the evaluation ahead of time. For the humorous speech, I have Chris, Vera, Rahul, and that's it at this moment.
Jesus.
Jesus? Okay, I thought I... Okay. And then for our target speech, Diane has stepped up for that. She'll be giving the speech, and then all the evaluators will take turns evaluating the task. So that's where we are right now. Give it some thought. We'll be talking more next week, and I'll start sending this out on email too. And we have many, many other members that aren't here and will come together next week. So keep it in mind. Remember your guests.
Okay.
Thank you.
Go! Now, before we close, it's time to hear from, first we welcome our new member, Rhonda. And our guest And table topic winner, you get this ribbon for being here tonight. And would you like to share your experience today? What you appreciate about the meeting?
Yeah, sure. Should I come up?
Whenever, if you're comfortable, you can come up.
I'm assuming I don't keep this, right? Sure.
No, you don't keep that.
For the week. Toastmasters group, leaders, speakers, guests at home. It's very interesting. When I first walked in, I had the thought, bottom of a church. Or are we gonna do is there gonna be a sermon going on later? It does have that feeling though. It immediately when I started hearing people talk, something about it kind of triggered this familiarity for me, like seeing somebody present an idea or to share a piece of information or a dance with a group is somehow, it's like you're connecting over something beyond just speaking to someone on the street. It's something more. You guys have something special here. You really, yeah, go figure. So I really appreciate it. It's empowering. It feels like somehow just speaking out on it, and it almost doesn't matter what. It's just you're connecting with people on a level that they're willing to listen and learn with you as you're sharing. So that's beautiful.
You can come visit as a visitor as many number of times you want, and you're most welcome to become a member.
Thank you.
Meeting adjourned. See you all next week.